What's our podcast called again?
No Gen Podcast.
I'm kidding.
I'm totally putting that at the beginning.
Oh, of course. Welcome back to No Gen Podcast. Today we're just kind of doing some free-form podcasting.
Yes, and just so you guys know, our past two episodes, the first one and also the Japan traveling one, we had like an outline of what we were going to talk about a bit, and we kind of followed that, but I wanted to really try out just a free-form discussion, see what happens. I feel like I could talk about pretty much anything for an hour and a half. I have an ideas of some things I want to talk about. We'll see if we get to them though. But yeah, it's just going to be a free-flowing conversation style thing. And we'll see if it works. If it doesn't, we'll go back to making an outline before we start recording the podcast.
Yeah. It's like 4 hours in, we're just like, so Apex. Apex is cool.
Apex is cool.
It's very cool.
Well, should we introduce ourselves? It's only our third episode, so I feel like we should just introduce ourselves at the top anyway.
Sure. Why don't you go first?
Hello, everyone. I'm Jonah.
Oh, okay. It was very simple.
I
Mason.
mean, like, yeah.
I thought you were gonna be like, oh, I'm Jonah. Do JTV, do all the streaming stuff. And it was like, oh, I'm just Jonah. It's like, oh, okay. Well, I'm glad I didn't get so. Yeah, no, I was ready to plug everything.
Just plug like my LinkedIn. Follow me on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I need more connections.
It's like, oh yeah, Pinterest. You know, just go.
Yeah,
Pinterest.
follow me on Pinterest. I don't go by my real name on Pinterest because I don't want my family to find all the fan art that I save.
Yeah. I know. I've not been on Pinterest in years. I still have the account. It's somewhere. There's stuff there.
I literally only go on Pinterest to like get rid of the notifications, like the little red number on the app icon. That is the only time I open. That is the only time I open Pinterest. That is the only time I've opened Pinterest in the past like 4 years. And when I do that, I might see someone be like, "Ooh, save," or "Ooh, I'll send this to my friend." But like, yeah, it's I never go on Pinterest. What social media are you on? What's your like main go-to other than obviously like YouTube? What's
Okay,
your main
other than
go-to?
YouTube, I would say definitely. Oh, okay, well, it depends what you mean by like just active, like actually just time spent. Time spent, probably Instagram and Twitter. It's probably
Really?
50-50. Because I've cut Reddit from my life. I've not gone on Reddit at all.
Wow. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
We all need to cut Reddit from our
Dude,
lives, but I don't think any of us are going to do that
It's
anytime
but
soon.
I lost so much time to Reddit, and now I lose it to YouTube. But I mean, Reddit was definitely like I was there every day, and then it was terrible.
Yeah, I go on Reddit all the time. I don't post or comment. I'll just like scroll through things and be like, all right, I'm bored now. I've seen enough dank Christian memes and like dark humor jokes. I can call it a day on this. That's enough cursed comments.
Yeah.
I went on Reddit 50/50 recently just to like be like, let's see what this is. And anytime you do Reddit 50/50, when you go on there for fun, you eventually reach a point where you're like, you know what? I'm done. I've seen enough. Reddit 50/50 is such a weird beast because obviously anytime for those of you who don't know, Reddit 50/50 is you're given a link and it's a random link. And the title will tell you it's either a good thing or a bad thing. So it could be like cute puppy or aftermath of bear attack. And so you click on it, you don't know which one it's going to be. And that's why it's called Reddit 50/50. And obviously when you do this, you want to get the good one. You don't want to get the bad one. But there's a lot of times where I get the good one and I'm a little disappointed because I'm like, I kind of wanted to know what the bad one would look like.
Yeah.
Like there was one, it was beautiful flower wallpaper or microwaved human hand. And I got the flower wallpaper, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, I really want to know what a microwaved human hand looks like.
See, like if I had to spend like any amount of time on 50/50, it'd have to be like somebody who's curated all of them, so it's always the good thing. I'm fine looking at messed up things. It's just when it's a 50/50, I don't like that. That decision is just like no. I don't want to get my hopes up. You know, like I'd rather be like, hey, look at this person get decapitated, or like, and then I'm prepared. Whereas,
so you'd
like,
rather
oh,
go
it's a
on
puppy. Oh no.
You'd rather just go on like r/wholesome memes or r/watch people die than do a 50/50.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I want to know what I'm getting into. I get that. That.
It's just having the ability to prepare for it is so much easier.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, I've been spending a lot of time on Reddit. Really. Oh, speaking of Twitter, I posted a tweet reply to one of Joey the Anime Man's tweets, and it got like 60 likes within like 5 minutes. And I was like, dang, I'm popping off. And I was
getting ratioed.
I was getting ratioed. And I was really proud of myself. And then it just like stopped getting likes. And Joey never liked it. And I was kind of hoping he would. And I was a little disappointed. I wanted Senpai to notice me. But
yes. That's why you just gotta pick smaller senpais.
Yeah, that's true. Who is a smaller senpai? Who would you consider?
Anybody sub like 500,000 viewers.
Okay,
or sorry,
so like
500,000 subs. I mean.
So like Corpse Husband in June.
Well, Corpse he's 5 million. But
I said in June.
Oh, in June.
Like,
yeah, right.
In June, like Corpse Husband in June of this year.
I'm not sure anybody knew who Corpse Husband was prior. I'm kidding.
I did.
Yeah.
That's actually
all the spooky, scary stories and stuff.
Yeah, I used to love his videos. Like, I've been subscribed to him actually since like 2017 or 2018. So like to see him kind of pop off and get all this recognition and all these like stands, I'm like, aw. It's like watching your child grow up. Like subscribing to a small YouTube channel that ends up blowing up. Like there's something like heartwarming about that. You feel like a proud father. Like, oh, my baby's grown up. People finally recognize his talent.
I feel like there was one like that for me, but I can't remember. I saw rumblings that Corpse's face got leaked.
I've seen a lot of those. His face has been getting leaked since like 2010. Like, and it's never him. It's a lot like Swagger Souls. Like everybody thinks they know they have the picture of Swagger Souls' face, and it's like, what, dude? Just chill out. If they don't want to show their face, don't.
Well, like... I think people. I mean, now I'm just regurgitating videos I've seen, but Swagger Souls, he said that like people have even said that like please don't take off your helmet, don't take off your mask. I don't want to see your face. They like the idea of that he's hidden. I'm like, yeah, there you go. That's a true
It's like
fan.
It's like, to bring it back to Apex Legends, it's like Octane. You know, I feel like if they got rid of Octane's mask and he wasn't hot, everyone would be so disappointed. Like, it's so much better to not have a face
Octane,
reveal for Octane. And not have a face reveal and just imagine that he's hot. And instead of getting confirmed, like, oh, he's ugly.
Sorry, you brought up Apex.
You got really excited. You got really excited. What's up?
You brought up Apex, and I had... Okay, I lose so much time to YouTube. I just gained so much useless knowledge. And one of them is that... So, Jonah, did you ever watch the Magic School Bus growing up?
Of course I watched the Magic School Bus growing up. Are you kidding me?
Okay. Then
hold that thought. Someone's making a lot of noise right now.
No, it was the pinnacle.
I'm sorry. Look, I'm recording this podcast in my bedroom.
Okay, let me get back to this. So
yeah, get back to this. Sorry for that.
Okay, I had all the freaking build up. It was
right
there. It's
I'm so sorry. I killed the moment.
An evil mastermind has like the piece of information that he holds over everybody, and that was like the exact moment he had to give it away. Anyway,
it's like James Bond getting a phone call while tied up to the crazy mechanism, and you know Scarface is like giving his whole spiel. And James Bond gets a phone call. Like, hold on, I need to get this.
Yeah, right. Okay. Let me go.
Okay,
so,
go on,
Magic School Bus, right?
Yes, okay. Magic School Bus.
We've been watching it since we were young.
Yes.
Literally, we have been listening to Bangalore's voice since we were like 4. She's a voice actor in Magic School Bus.
Wait. Yeah. Who does she play? Does she play Miss Frizzle?
No, it's like I forget her name. It's like Trisha or Sasha.
I was kind of hoping it was the kid who straight up died in that one episode.
That's Arthur.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
No, there was an episode of the Magic School Bus where like the redheaded kid,
Arthur,
who in the intro's like, not this again. He gets sucked out into space and just straight up dies.
Yeah, he was not the imposter. Sorry.
Orang Strat did not work. Orang was not the imposter.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But no, I thought that was cool. I was like, I can't believe it. You know.
That's really funny. I found out that the guy who plays Mirage voices Sonic the Hedgehog in like the newer Sonic games.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
You didn't seem as excited about that.
No, because I already knew that.
Also, freaking Bloodhound is in like the dub for like Fate Apocrypha and a bunch of other stuff like that.
Yeah, actually,
which is crazy to me.
There's a surprising amount of ones who worked on animes and different video games. The only ones that like were kind of new are like Gibby and like Wraith and like Watson. Those are the two that didn't have any like major interesting voice acting. I'm just repeating an Omega video at this point. That literally is what this is.
You know who I would love to see voice in an anime? Troy Baker. I would love to see Troy Baker voice a character in an anime dub. I mean, I don't watch anime dubs, period. Same. But if Troy Baker was in one, I might make an exception to watch that. Since we're on the Apex train, do you want to talk about Apex for a bit?
Sure, why not?
Take a little trip down Apex. First of all, freaking love it. The game is the shit. It's so good. Now, my question is, what do you think makes it so much better than like other battle royale games? Because it gets compared a lot to like Overwatch and obviously Fortnite and PUBG, but it's not nearly as popular as like Fortnite or Overwatch. And I personally think it's better than Fortnite, at least. And I wanted to kind of discuss why we think it's better, and then also maybe get into why we think it's not as popular as Fortnite. Yeah. So I have a few theories on that, but I wanted to hear your thoughts first. Starting on
the reason why it's better than nearly every other game that exists is because I was gonna
go that far, but if you want to, you can have that spicy opinion.
Yeah.
I'll let you have that.
No, I'm kidding. It's just the movement. The movement and the gunplay are like literally like so much further than any like you look at something like freaking CS:GO or Valorant, which are basically very similar, and you know, they're almost okay. Valorant's almost a movement shooter, but Apex is way more, and it's just I don't know. It's so much better. I don't know. I think it's just like satisfying and more polished than anything else.
Yeah, I get that, because there'll be a lot of times where I'll go in to play Warzone with some of my friends, and I'll like slide and get so disappointed that I stop sliding. Yeah. And there's no infinite slide. It is the most disappointing things in the world to me.
Well, that's kind of the main thing. Like, I like the Legends too, but like, you know, I mean, it definitely helps the game a ton. Like, I do enjoy that. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, you know, if you had all those Legends and put them in Fortnite, I would not care. If you put them in PUBG, would not care. Valorant doesn't matter. Like, literally, it's so much of the gameplay is just so good. Like, literally, like Path and Octane. Like, oh my gosh, it's good. I don't even mean those people.
One thing that I really like about it is I feel like it's a really easy game to get good at. Like, I feel like the learning curve is very generous. And that could just be because I am a Season 0 player. I've been playing since, you know, preseason. So maybe it's just because when I learned to play it, it was when everyone else was learning to play it. So it was kind of easier for me. But I feel like anybody, if you're at least familiar with how first-person shooters work, it's very easy to jump into with just like one other person who can kind of take you in to firing range and kind of show you the guns and get a feel for how they work. I feel like it's a really easy game to kind of jump into without knowing too much, especially because the firing range is multiplayer. Like, you can have multi-people in the firing range. So I think it's really helpful, because if you have someone there who knows how the guns work and know how the Legends work, you can kind of teach them, you know, tips and tricks. I mean, that's what I did with Seabass, is he wanted to learn how to do the grapple jump with Pathfinder, which is one of the moves that I'm pretty good at. And so I just took him into firing range and had him try it a few times and was able to teach him like that. So it's a very easy game to kind of teach people to play and also learn people to play. And that's one thing I really like about it, is I think it has a very generous learning curve. There's not too many things going on as far as game mechanics go. There's not a lot of game mechanics to kind of get used to. I mean, pinging takes a bit of practice, I feel like. But like with Fortnite, you have, first of all, I don't think the gunplay in Fortnite is good at all.
Yeah, it's a third-person perspective as well, which is like the most uninteresting like way to play a game. I mean, TF2 fans they're freaking pissed with me, but that's the Team Fortress fans, not the Titanfall ones. Those are good peoples.
Are they?
I mean, the little ones that are left, yeah.
They all moved on to Apex.
Yeah. I mean, well, I mean, the game's dying anyway. But,
yeah. And then also, I feel like with Fortnite, you also have like the building mechanic.
I think that ruins it a lot, because like I was kind of thinking about this the other day. I'm not sure. I mean, there's probably been other Fortnite maps or whatever. The only one I've played is the one with tilted towers. But I think the fact that you can destroy a lot of the buildings actually makes it a lot harder. It's like so much less gunplay and more positioning.
There's a lot less strategy. There's a lot less strategy to it.
Well, I mean, like, to a degree.
To a degree. What I mean by that is
like the one-to-one battles. Yes, I would kind of agree.
Yeah, but I mean, it's basically Fortnite comes down to, are you good at building? And if you're not, then you're not good at the game. If you are, you're good at the game. It doesn't come down to any sort of skill with gunplay. It doesn't come out to a lot of luck. It doesn't come out to a lot of like strategizing as far as like when I play Apex, like there's a lot of thought that goes into what we do and where we move depending on where the ring is and how we enter fights, and also trying to find cover is another thing. I feel like Fortnite's a lot of really just kind of run and gun, and
because you can build cover anywhere.
Yeah, and so there's a lot less strategy to it. You start getting shot at, bam, 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 bam. You have 4 walls around you, and then you just build upwards. Whereas with Apex, there's a lot of times where, you know, there's a team across, you know, the area from you, and you have to figure out, okay, how can we get there? And you have to find cover and find a sort of path, and there's a lot more strategy that goes into it. And I think that's why Apex is less popular than Fortnite and other games like that, is because there's a lot more thinking that goes into it. If you run and gun in Apex, unless you're super good at it, you're gonna die. You can't really run and gun at Apex unless you're super good,
I think that's why.
You just get lucky with what guns you have and what guns they have. It's a lot more strategy based. I think that is the big barrier, because I have a lot of friends who don't play Apex, and the reason is it's like it takes too long. Like there's too much thinking. When I play a first-person shooter, I want to jump in, run, get kills, and go on with my day. And
that's
I totally
why they should just play Titanfall 2. You know, there you go.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think that's one of the big barriers. Obviously, Mason and I have no clue what we're talking about.
No,
we're just
we're just spouting.
Spouting it out of our asses right now.
Although I agree with you though, because like I think the reason why Fortnite is just so much more inferior is that your squad isn't like, there's no attributes to each of your characters. It's just like you're just there, whereas like you're relying a lot more on Legends abilities in Apex, and that's
it's also good matchups too.
Yeah,
it's also good team play. There's a lot more team play and matchups where, you know, certain Legends play off of each other really well, and kind of getting the matchups correct, which is actually I think another barrier with Apex Legends, is that unless you have like a dedicated squad, it's really hard to really play the game well and get better at it without kind of a dedicated group of people that you play with, or a pre-made squad. You know, playing with Apex with randos is, especially randos that don't have microphones, is super difficult. It's even for like me, someone who's pretty experienced with the game, it's super hard. Because a lot of it is based on communication, and the pinging system only does too much. You know, when I'm playing with you and Seabass, I can ping that there's enemies here and say, don't attack them, we're gonna go this way. Whereas you're playing with randos and you ping enemies, they're more likely than not going to start attacking them.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if they have an EVA 8, they're going to go for those long shots.
No, it's not just that. It could also be like, I don't have enough healing items or ammo to get into a firefight right now. So I would like to avoid this fight because I don't have enough equipment to really be able to hold down and actually fight these people. And that's one of the more nuances that kind of goes into it. And I do want to make it clear, because this is a very Reddit conversation. Like,
I was
Fortnite good, Apex, or Fortnite bad, rah, rah, rah. I don't hate Fortnite. Like, I get the appeal of it. I understand why people like it, and I think it's a decent game. It's just not for me. It's not. It doesn't fit my playstyle very well. It's not my type of game. So if you like Fortnite, that's totally fine. We're not gonna, you know, shit on you for liking Fortnite. I think that's one thing that is kind of still pretty toxic about gamer culture, is there's a lot of elitism in it. And we could do a whole episode on elitism in fandoms. So that's a long tangent, but I think with a lot of gaming culture like that, it's like, oh, you play Fortnite, or you play Roblox and not Minecraft.
Yeah,
what are you?
Actually, that's
stupid?
I feel like that's the most underrated like elitism on the planet, is like the hate against Roblox players. I mean, to be fair, like I've not even played Roblox, but like I feel like that's the most undeserved when Fortnite is as big as it is.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, you're 8 and you play Roblox? Lame. It's like,
It's like I just learned how to read. It's fine.
You know what I played when I was 8? Webkins. Club Penguin. You're seriously gonna sit down there and tell me that Roblox is somehow more cringe than Webkins or Club Penguin? Like, shut up. Like, the games, just because you grew up on Newgrounds and played the edgy school shooter simulator games, does not make you a better person. I saw you like spit up your water a bit. You weren't ready for that.
Oh no, that's hot coffee right there. Yeah, it would have been a nightmare. I just like the idea of that. Yeah, just because you play those edgy school shooting games doesn't make you a good person. I'm like, it's just like, hold up.
Do you? That's actually something that kind of ties in with the theme of the podcast, kind of living in between generations, is because I feel like you and I kind of got to see the tail end of Newgrounds and like the free Flash games on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were there when they were still popular, but we kind of caught the end of the popularity when those games started getting phased out. Do you remember Newgrounds like at all? Were you ever on
No,
Newgrounds?
the only time, because like I remember like I'd played a bit of like Happy Wheels and a few of the like Flash games, but those were always separate from Newgrounds. And like I remember like hearing about, it was like, okay, like when I was first getting into YouTube, there was a lot of like animators that I was like, oh, really cool. So like I always find out they're from Newgrounds. I'm like, okay, I'll check out Newgrounds. And then you get bombarded with pop-up ads. Well, not pop-up ads, but there's just so much ads. I was like, viruses, bye. I don't, I was like, I'm gone.
Yeah, going on Newgrounds as like elementary or even middle schooler, when you don't know what Newgrounds is, like when you're not prepared for it, it's one of the most terrifying things, especially like using your parents' computer. Because my dad does like a lot of computer work. So he's always like, don't get viruses, don't do this, don't do this. We'll give you viruses and we're all going to die. Like that kind of mentality. So anytime I went on any website and there were pop-up ads and I like clicked and it would, to close it and open a link, I would shit my pants and think, oh no, I broke our computer and I'm never going to be able to use it again. So going on websites like Newgrounds terrified me with like all the viruses. Now, I don't care. And this actually leads into a story I wanted to tell on the podcast. I told you that I had a story I wanted to share.
Oh, yeah.
And this is it. So I went home for Thanksgiving break, obviously. And when I was there, my Xbox 360 is there. And I haven't been on my Xbox 360 in a long time. And we were playing, me and my roommate came down with me. We were playing Black Ops 2, the classic. And when we were like kind of fiddling around with the menus and stuff, I saw like my emblem that I made, and I was like 15. I was like getting hit with all this nostalgia. And then I saw the COD TV thing. I'm like, oh, that's right, you can make like videos and stuff. So I immediately was like, I need to go look at my old videos, my old emblems. I want to see like what they're like. So I went in, and turns out you need an Xbox Live Gold membership to view them. But I haven't had Xbox Live Gold in, has to be like 4 years since I got my PlayStation 4. I haven't had an Xbox Live Gold. And I looked like on Amazon and stuff for codes for an Xbox Live Gold subscription, and they're all like 3 months, and I'm like, I'm not gonna pay $10 to like look at emblems, for a nostalgic trip. But I really wanted to see them, so I Googled to see if there were any like, are there any like 2-day or like 24-hour Xbox Live like trial access stuff like that. And I found out that they exist, but they didn't sell them on Amazon. So I'm like, oh, let me check eBay. See if anyone on eBay is selling them for like an email code or something like that, like something that's instant access. So, where's my phone? Let me look for the screenshot to send to you, because I found someone selling instant delivery 48-hour Xbox Live Gold membership, and it was the sketchiest looking image in the world. It looked so sketchy. Let me go to purchases. I gotta show it to you.
I got my phone right here.
Yeah, I have to text it to you. It's
not gonna lie, I have bought codes off of eBay before.
Oh yeah, no, this was the first time, and I saw it, and let me just, it looks like a scam. Like, you look at it and you're like, that's a scam, 100%. And I was having kind of a shit week, so it was one of those weeks where I'm like, this might as well happen. I get scammed. It's just like, those weeks where you're like, sure, why not? I mean, everything else has gone wrong this week. I might as well throw this on top of it while I'm already like depressed. So I just texted you.
All right, I'm waiting.
The image, and I'll put it up in the podcast so you guys can see that. So that is what I clicked on to buy. Right?
$1.79.
And that's what I was thinking. Like, okay, if this is a scam, $1.79, that's not a lot of money. I got scammed. I got scammed out $2. So I was like, fuck it. So I bought it, and immediately got like 4 emails from like the same, and I'm like, this is so sketchy. So I opened one of the emails where it's like, most of them were tracking emails from eBay, because since it's instant delivery, it still goes through all the cycles, like order place, package on its way, package delivered. So those were 3 of the 4 emails, were just saying that my package arrived, basically. And the 4th one was from the actual like buyer, and it was something like .uk. And I'm like, I trust British people. Like if it was .io, no, I'm not.
Stay away from .ios.
No, the only
like
.io I'm gonna
.rs.
.rs, .cn. Like the only time I want to see .io or .whatever is when I'm on GoGo Anime and trying to watch anime that's not on Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
So it's a link. They don't email me the code. They email me a link, and I'm like, it says click here to download your code. And I was on my iPad, and there's not a lot of viruses for like iPads or whatever for iPad OS. So I looked at my roommate, and he looked at me, and I'm like, you know what? I get a virus, like, whatever. I'm so beyond caring at this point. Like, my car was broken down. We were having issues with that. I was stuck at home. Like, I'm just gonna click it. So I click it, and it says download file, and it was a JPEG file. I'm like, okay, like it's a JPEG file. How bad could this be?
Yeah.
And the JPEG file was like an image of like the back of a card in like 180p and the most low-res sketchy looking photo, and I'm like, there's no way this code works. I'm like, there is a 0% chance this code works, but I'm gonna try it anyway.
Yeah,
like, I spent $2
why wouldn't you? Yeah.
So I type it in, and it worked.
Oh,
it was a real code, and it worked, and I was able to access all my Xbox Live stuff, and actually was able to play like some rounds of Black Ops online, and I could not believe that this worked. It was the sketchiest thing.
You gotta give that man 5 stars. Give him 5 stars.
Yeah. I immediately went, I'm like, I'm reviewing this. Like, and I look, it says like 2,000 satisfied customers.
Yeah,
like,
it's
okay, nobody buys that many bots to scam people out of $2, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm giving them
especially
$2.
$2 is such a trivial amount.
Yeah, and it's on eBay, so it's not like I'm giving them my, credit card information directly. It's just through eBay. It's through PayPal. So like they're not getting it. I'm like, all right, sure. But me and my roommate could not believe it worked.
That's so good. I thought you were gonna be like telling me like I paid $2 for viruses on my iPad. That's what I thought this was going. I was like, oh my god.
That wouldn't have been a good story. But the fact that it worked makes it such a like great story. And I had the biggest smile on my face the whole time I was playing Call of Duty Online. Just like, I cannot believe that it was like 8 different levels of sketch, and it all came together to actually work, and I was able to access everything, and I could not believe that happened. It was one of the craziest things that I've ever bought on eBay.
That's great.
Just purely based on that fact. But yeah, I was looking at all my old Call of Duty Black Ops 2 emblems, and like they had the date on when they were made. It was like 2014, 2013, and some of them were so cringe. But I knew in the back of my mind, I'm like, damn, when I was 15, I thought this was the coolest shit in the world. I thought it was so clever. Like, I had one where it was like an old lady with a walker, and the walker had like guns on it, and it had the Julian Smith quote where it's like, grannies are for boning noobs.
I remember that.
I'm like, this is the most 2013 thing I have ever seen in my life, and I felt so ashamed of myself that my name was attached to that.
I'm trying to remember what I had. It's killing me. I knew it was something anime related. It had to have been.
Oh, it had to have been. I mean, my emblem on Black Ops 3 is the Tekadon symbol.
Yeah, no, I remember yours, but I can't remember mine. Oh my god.
It had to have been something like either Game Grumps related or something like weirdly YouTube related. Because this was like back in like 2014. You know what it probably was?
What?
I guarantee you it was the Stig from Top Gear. I can almost guarantee that's what it was.
I can guarantee that's at least one of them that I have.
Oh,
I can guarantee it. It's so it's funny because you look at your childhood and you're like, oh yeah, I remember that time when I was like 5 and went to Six Flags or like something like that. Like you're like easy. But when you're trying to remember like internet things, your mind is like, man, this is so hard.
Because it just changes so quickly. And it's also another thing, like I forget what it's called, but it's a certain effect where like the older you grow, the like shorter the years get. So you have, it's almost like you have less time to process things. Because when you were 8, that trip to Six Flags for like a day was like, or like that week you went to Six Flags.
Yeah, I've never been
like
to
that's
Six
a
Flags,
decent portion of your life.
Yeah.
Like at that time. Whereas if you go to Six Flags in your 20s, that's a tiny fraction of your life up to that point. So, but yeah, that's like a whole nother topic about the human mind.
Yeah, that's something we're not qualified to speak on at any
long
story
level. Long story short, I've been watching a lot of Vsauce videos recently.
Vsauce is great. Yeah, no, I've gotten addicted to a lot of edutainment videos lately.
Edutainment. Yeah. That is the correct word to use. But dude, I remember playing Xbox Live all the time. Like, I remember back in like middle school, you, me, and our 2 other friends. I'll name them, but I'll probably censor out their names in the podcast. But
oh yeah,
and like the 4 of us would play Call of Duty, either Call of Duty or Halo Reach Forge.
Yeah, I feel like Black Ops 2 was definitely the bigger one of those. I mean,
that's the only one I got like Prestige 8 on. Like, I was super high level.
Oh yeah, I must have hit Prestige a few times. That's actually the only game I've ever actually been able to Prestige in.
Yeah.
So I actually know that's Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2. That's like the main time I was able to play a lot and actually Prestige. Yeah, those are the good old days. I'm still like kicking myself trying to remember what my album was because it's so close. Like, part of me is like, is it the Gios logo? Is it like, you know?
Nah, Gios would have been later.
Because
it
would have been towards the tail end. I'm trying to remember the last one I had.
Because you were really big into Code Geass like right when I started watching anime in like 2014.
That sounds right.
So that was about the right time, I guess, for COD Emblem, but I don't know. Do you remember one of my like favorite childhood things growing up was Minecraft Xbox 360 multiplayer. Like back before there were servers on Console Edition where you and your friends would create a world and just build it. I remember we had so many different ones. I don't know if you remember this, but do you remember there's one time where we built like a fantasy world with different cities, and then each of us became like the lords of those cities and had like an economy system, and like basically, it was like Minecraft LARPing. You don't remember that?
I remember doing like basically like manhunt, like where you like we'd go loot and
the
kill
Hunger
each other.
Games. Yeah.
Oh, my mom's
Minecraft
calling.
Really?
I'll text her. I'm not gonna. So Jonah, what are some of your like earliest like video game memories growing up?
Oh jeez, take me back. So do you want to go like first console we got, favorite game? Do you want to go through? Okay, so here's my question with that question is: do you want to go through like each console we owned, like chronologically? Talk about our favorite game on each console.
Did you want to go first or?
I mean, I feel like you've owned way more consoles than I have.
Yeah,
so I think
greed is a bad thing. Okay, I'll just go, and I'll at the end of it I'll tail it off because I've kind of bought so many recently. It's not okay. Anyway, so growing up, we had a N64 and we actually had a PS1. But I never saw the PS1 until much later, and we ended up selling it. Anyway, had that, and then we kept that for a while. Then we had gotten a GameCube for Christmas, and then after that, we had gotten my uncle's original Xbox, because he upgraded to a 360. And then shortly after that, we got a 360 Slim, and then that's when it was PS4.
You're going like all of them. I was thinking we do one at a time.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I thought it the whole time.
We got this. But I do want to say, I haven't heard the phrase. I never thought in 2020 I would hear the phrase upgraded to a 360.
Oh yeah.
Like that is such.
Yeah, no, but that's when it was big. That's when
yeah.
That was before Halo 3 came out.
Xbox 360 was what, 2004, I want to say?
2005. That sounds right. PS2 was 2002?
Huh.
I forget.
No,
that's PSP. Anyway.
I know the 360.
Oh, I skipped over my handhelds. Whoops.
Well, do you want to start back at the beginning?
Okay.
And go through, like, start with your N64 and talk about, like, your favorite game on that.
Oh, good. I like this format a lot better. I thought I had to riddle them all off. Okay. Yeah, started out with the N64, and I'm not going to bring up the PS1, but again, I actually never played any of the games on it until much later and bought my own. Anyway.
Yeah.
Basically, the first video games I was playing were like Star Fox 64, Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, Mario Kart, Mickey Speedway USA, Toy Story.
Oh my gosh, those are games
I still got to. Star Wars Pod Racer. That's a big chunk of my childhood. that game's so freaking good.
Dude, Star Wars Pod Racer, one of the most underrated classic games.
Nobody
really talks about it anymore.
So good.
So much fun.
Like for the N64, it looks so good. And anyway, I'm getting carried away. But yeah,
we can get carried away about Star Wars Pod Racers. I don't care. I can talk about the game.
You know what? I gotta fix my freaking computer and my Elgato. I'll start streaming that. No, I'm kidding.
Dude,
I'll do that sometime. I want to though. I actually have it for the PS2. I could stream it for the PS2, but I've not played that one yet.
That'd be so fun.
I'm getting all excited over these games.
Over something that might happen in the future.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, I mean it was great. I remember my dad had like rated M games that I've never played them to this day. I still own them. They're technically mine. But like there's something funny about like rated M games that you couldn't play as a kid, but you're well beyond that now. But you're like, no, those are too advanced for me. I'll stick to Call of Duty and like Doom. Those are really good.
It's like you're playing GTA 5, but those like N64 M games.
Yeah.
No, those are a big no.
It's like Perfect Dark, Turok 2. No, those are that's too much. On
that note, I remember when I was growing up, my dad had like a shelf of movies in his office of like his movies that like we couldn't watch. Like it was stuff like The Patriot, Band of Brothers, Braveheart, and a bunch of other stuff like that. Like movies that when we were a kid, I remember always looking at the movies being like, ooh, these are adult movies, like so scandalous. And I remember like every day asking like my dad, like, when can we watch these movies? I want to watch these movies. And there are some that he owns that I still to this day haven't watched, and they're still sitting on the same shelf. And there's something that just feels wrong about me going in there and just taking one and like plopping it in and watching it. Like I still feel like weird about it, even though I'm well past the point where like, I mean, I went and saw Deadpool with my dad. Like we are well past Braveheart at this point, but it feels wrong to go in and take them and watch them.
Yeah, no, my brother and I, we were good little video game kids growing up, because like I remember we came down, we went to our grandparents' house in Texas, and my grandpa, he had several 360s, I think, but he had a 360 we were playing on, and basically we'd go to Blockbuster, rent a game, and bring it back. But it was at the height. It was like had to been, I forget the year, doesn't matter. I was 9, and it was. No, I was older than that. Anyway, doesn't matter. But Halo 3 had just came out. There was trailers everywhere on television. Be like, oh my gosh, this game's great. And I remember we went to Blockbuster and we were like running out of games to rent.
Oh my god, and renting games at Blockbuster.
And literally we went there and like, oh, that's the Halo 3 right there. And my grandma's like, oh, you want to rent that? Like, no, sorry, it's rated M. We can't play it. And like, yeah, we were like maybe 8 or like 9, 10. It's like, no, we're not going to play that. We'll take Viva La Pinata. Viva Pinata's good. I remember that vividly because we could have went home and played Halo, and yeah, it was good, a good time.
Renting games, I know for a fact I've rented PS2 games at Blockbuster before, but I cannot for the life of me think of a single one I rented.
Those are the most nostalgic games because when we had the N64. Oh, go ahead. You seem like you're gonna lose this if I don't let you go.
I totally just remember a game I rented.
What'd you rent?
Sonic 06.
Oh, snap.
I rented Sonic 06 for the PlayStation 2 from Blockbuster.
Mm-hmm.
Like back, obviously in like 2006 when I was like 7. I'm like, yeah, Sonic's cool. Like, oh my gosh. I think I also had Sonic Adventure 2. I think. Either I had it or my friends had it because I definitely remember playing it. But
yeah. Those the rental games are definitely the ones I'm most nostalgic for because I remember we went to Family Home Video, and that's a Midwest thing. And we went there and we had gotten the Toy Story game, which I have not owned. We've never owned that game until like a few weeks ago. I bought it because I remembered how much nostalgic. And there's also this dinosaur or animal racing game that we had where we rented from the N64, and I remember it so vividly, but I don't even know the name of it. It's crazy to me.
I remember.
So good.
It's funny because I'm not old like by any stretch of the imagination. Like I'm only 21, but when I start talking about like renting movies from Blockbuster, I feel like such a boomer. Like oh, these kids. Like I still remember going into Toys R Us, and back when Toys R Us was a thing.
I know.
Horrible sentence to say.
It's terrible.
Like, I don't want to grow up. I want to be a Toys R Us kid, but now I can't be a Toys R Us kid. I have to grow up.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's why 2020 is a bad year.
Dude, 2020. But I remember if you went into Toys R Us on your birthday, they'd give you a $10 Toys R Us gift card.
I still can't believe you told me that not too long ago. I can't believe that because like it is crazy. $10. That's an insane amount.
Oh yeah, and when you were like 8, $10 was like you felt rich with $10. Like you had a $10 bill, you were the coolest kid at the playground.
You know, I definitely remember like one of the main. I've had 2 memories of Toys R Us, and then one of them was it was like my birthday or near my birthday, and I went in with my grandparents, and I was trying to find a Unicron Transformer, but they didn't have it. So I got the second biggest one, which is Starscream, and I still have that one to this day. And then the second memory, I like this one a lot because it was like it had to have been Halloween, like right before like 6 or 7 o'clock, like during Halloween, or the day before. I'm pretty sure it was like. Anyway, I had a Jango Fett costume I was gonna wear that year, but it didn't come with a gun. So I was like, I gotta go to Toys R Us and get a gun. And then we get there and ask the person like, hey, do you guys sell like toy guns? And the guy's like, no, we don't sell guns. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So I just didn't have a gun. I used a lightsaber. But then I remembered there's Nerf guns. Nerf guns existed back then. That cashier was just a dick. It freaking pissed me off. I was like, you ruined my Jango Fett costume.
Oh my gosh. I remember going into Toys R Us, and every time we went in, there was one toy I always wanted. And I'm an adult now. Like, I could buy it. But, like, I can't justify buying it. But I always wanted an Easy Bake Oven.
Oh, yeah, we had one.
Like, my whole life, I always wanted an Easy Bake Oven. My parents was like, no, that's a girl toy. And I'm like, well, and then I'm like, let's just buy it for and then I'll use it. And it wasn't just the girl toy thing. That makes my parents sound like horrible people. They're not. Mm-hmm. The main thing, I think that was their, like, excuse that they told me. Because, you know, parents always have, like, a reason for not doing things that they tell the kids. Then there's like the actual reason. Yeah,
that it's just a plastic shell with the light bulb inside.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was the actual reason, was that all the cakes, they knew all the cakes would taste like shit. Yeah. Like, I was such a sucker for advertising. Like, every infomercial, I'm like, I want that toy. I want that toy. My parents would never buy them for me. And I always got so mad. And the reason was because they never worked. They never worked like they did in the commercial. So they knew they would just be buying me disappointment. And I think that's why they never bought me an Easy Bake Oven. Because the reason I wanted one is because all, like, the cakes, like, on the box look so tasty. I'm like, those look so delicious. I want them. My parents like, it's powder mixed with water cooked by a light bulb. You do not want those. So I think they just didn't want to kill the dream for me. And looking back on it, they definitely made the right choice, because I would have been such a depressed. I would have been like eating it like, this is so gross. But like, I would have gaslit myself into thinking that it was the best cake ever just because I really wanted it.
Of course, you gotta justify it.
Myself.
You gotta justify that purchase. Sorry, when you brought up marketing, I was like, yeah, I remember being susceptible, but we never bought them. And I remembered where I saw a lot of those toys, and I had to look it up. Did you ever like go to like a KB Toys?
No.
Is it KB Toys? There's a toy store that was in the mall. There was one inside Potomac Mills. I feel like it's KB Toys.
Oh my gosh, is it like the toy shops where like the guy would be outside with a remote control helicopter all the time?
No.
Okay.
This one would be like a set
in, like,
store.
Mall.
It has to be KB Toys. Look at all these toys. It's like, it was very weird because it was like, just, you could tell it was like a toy store that didn't have like a specific theme. It was just kind of like shelves with toys, but it was
I totally know what you're talking about. I totally know what you're talking about.
It has 100%. To be, but like they had a lot of like the like electronic like robots, like the WowWee toys and things. What is it? Here, the top 20 lamest toys of 2000. Oh, not the toys. All the Bionicles there. You.
Yeah,
was the best.
They hatch from eggs. How freaking cool was that? A toy that hatched. Like, come on. How could you not be super into that?
I'm sorry. I just found like the most amazing. So do you remember the iDog?
Yes.
Dude, I forgot about the iDock.
Do.
Oh, I see how this article works.
Do you remember the Lego robotics sets? Where you could build like a little Lego robot?
The Mindstorms one?
I think so. And you had to like program it yourself.
I had legit. I was such a fortunate child later in life that I had basically gotten my dad to pay for like one Mindstorms kit, and then I used it for a little bit and it was great, enjoyed it, and then like maybe like 4 years later, gave me his second set, so I had 2 of them. So I was like, here we go, let's go. And then I think I ended up selling my old one on Craigslist for like $125.
That's so funny.
It was so good.
Do you want to like try to bring this back to video games?
Oh, dude, sorry. Yeah, toys.
This is the problem with doing episodes that aren't
you're
scripted.
right.
It's so easy to get me on a tangent. I'm so ADHD.
Okay, to skip ahead, what was the first console you paid with your own money? That was your console.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's skipping a lot.
Okay, well maybe we won't go that far.
It's skipping a lot. But so where did I'm trying to like think like where we started going off the rails. Like I feel like a detective. Like going back, all right.
We were talking about Blockbuster and then Toys R Us.
We were talking about renting video games from
Yeah.
Blockbuster, yes. And we were talking. So this would have been PS2, is because you mentioned N64, and
I had a GameCube between then. I had an N64, then I had GameCube, and then I had an Xbox, and then eventually a 360.
What was your favorite game on the GameCube? Because I know what mine was.
Star Fox Assault played a ton of. I try to remember our library. Oh, that and Custom Robo. Those games are cool as shit. And then we also had the Bible game. Hooray.
Dude, I remember the Bible game. I remember playing that because so this will get into kind of my gaming history because it's very different. We did not own any consoles growing up. The only console we owned was like a PlayStation 2, and that was it. But we knew people who we went over to their house a lot who owned all the consoles. So like I grew up playing PS1, N64, GameCube, but it was never my console. And so my parents used to be part of this Bible study, and the guy whose house the Bible study was at was like a toy collector. Like he had like a mint condition boxed Death Star, Lego Death Star in his base. Like he was like hardcore toy collector. So of course he had like an N64 and he had a GameCube, and every time we went over to his house, I would play on the GameCube. And I remember playing the Bible game a few times, but my favorite game to play on the GameCube, and this is like super obvious, Wind Waker. Legend of Zelda Wind Waker.
Oh, I see. I never had Wind Waker.
That was my favorite GameCube game. I had a save file on his GameCube, and every single week we went to his house. We would play the Bible game for like all the kids. They'd put on like and as soon as all the kids like got distracted and started playing with like toys, I'm like, Wind Waker time. and I remember I named my character. Oh no, I didn't name my character because someone else. It was like his account. Yeah. But like he had just started. He's like, no, you can play on it. I'm like, yes.
That's such a good game.
And that was my favorite game. I love the heck out of Wind Waker. So that was my favorite. So the game consoles I remember that I didn't own the most were that, and then my friend had my other friend had an N64, and Super Mario 64 was the only game Super Mario 64 and Majora's Mask, not Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. Those are the two games I remember playing.
I swear we're like living opposite lifetimes. It's so weird because I was about to say, those are like I never played Wind Waker like on our GameCube because we never had it, and then I was gonna say on the N64 we never had Mario 64, and then also we didn't have what was the other thing you just mentioned? Majora's Mask. Yeah, it was legit. Like we had Ocarina of Time, and then I'm fucking 7. I don't have money. I'm not gonna pay for a video game, and so it's like I never got, and then we didn't have the expansion pack either, so I can't even play Majora's Mask.
Yeah.
So it's just literally, it's hilarious. Those are the ones you played, and I didn't get to play any of those. Yet I own almost all of those now. Actually, never mind. I do own them.
Hold on, I'm like adjusting my legs, the spacing underneath, because I'm like leaning back in my chair, and I knocked my pop filter. So let me do that.
Oof.
But yeah, so those were the games I played, and then the first game console I owned was a PlayStation 2 because I begged my parents to let me play it. Like I begged my parents to give me a PlayStation 2. I remember it came with 2 games. It came with Gran Turismo. I think it would have been Gran Turismo 6.
Yeah.
At
Gran
the
Turismo.
time.
Well, no, Gran Turismo. It's probably Gran Turismo 4.
Yeah, Gran Turismo 4.
4 A-Spec came first.
Yes, it came with Gran Turismo 4 and oh my gosh, one of the Final Fantasy games. It wouldn't have been 7, right?
10 came out for the PS2.
It must have been 10.
10, 11, and
I mean
there was
10.
there was a few other ones like.
All I remember is I was not allowed to play it because it was rated T for teen, and my parents saw like the anime people on it, and they're like, "We know this kind of game," and so I was not allowed to play it. So I've never played Final Fantasy on the PlayStation because they're like rated T for teen, anime girls. Nope, hard pass. And yeah, so I played Gran Turismo all the time. And the first game that I bought for it was the SpongeBob SquarePants movie video game.
Oh, I thought you were saying the Battle for Bikini Bottom. That
no,
game.
I wasn't allowed to play that.
Why
and
not?
You wanna know why? Because the lives were underwear. So yeah, so when I was young, I couldn't play Battle for Bikini Bottom because of the underwear in it. And you know what's funny? My parents didn't throw it away. You know what they did with it?
What?
Take a wild guess what they did with it.
What
They
don't know.
put
They
it
burnt?
on my dad's movie shelf in his
No!
office with all the movies I wasn't allowed to watch. And that's what they did with every video game that I like was given or like found that I wasn't allowed to play. It's so like Final Fantasy X was up there, Battle for Bikini Bottom was up there, and that's just where they kept them.
Oh my god.
And on the shelf. And I completely forgot that they did that until we started talking about this. I completely forgot that was a thing that they did. But that's what they did with it. So I had Battle for Bikini Bottom, which I played a ton of. I had a lot of games for PlayStation 2. I had like Thrillville, obviously. Like both Thrillvilles. I had, oh my gosh. I can't even remember. Because I sold a bunch of them.
Yeah,
and that was one of my... That is both one of my biggest regrets and also the thing I'm most thankful for is when the Xbox 360 started becoming popular and they stopped making games for PlayStation 2 is I sold my PlayStation 2 and like all of my games to be able to pay for an Xbox 360. And
they're
like
still
looking
making
back
PS2 games, by the way.
Yeah, and looking back on it, I really regret selling my PlayStation 2 and all my games. But at the same time, buying an Xbox 360 like opened up a lot of doors, and I'll get into that when we start getting into that generation. But sticking with the generation before that with PlayStation 2, I had the Polar Express tie-in video game.
Yeah.
Which was so much fun. I loved that. And then I had the other one I remember is the game ATV 2.
Oh, I think I played that at a friend's house. Like, a kid named Rob.
Yeah. And there was a cheat code that you could type in that unlocked all the maps on free roam, and I played the hell out of it. That was like my first experience with like quote unquote open world games where I could just drive my ATV around in first person and explore and all this other stuff. And those are the games that stick out to me most on the PlayStation 2, and then Thrillville as well. And
I was trying to remember when you brought up like the rating, and like I feel like my experience with like the rating with our parents is like it's very different because it was like almost not conscious, because like we had the GameCube, and I don't think we actually ever bought any of the games for the GameCube. They were always like gifts. So like we played a ton of Mario Tennis because that's a great fucking game, but like. What I realized is that the first T game that we played was Star Wars Battlefront, and that was because my uncle gave us his old Xbox with a bunch of games. So it's like it's Star Wars, that you might as well play it. And then at that point, it was like fine. And then we met, our good friend, and then from there it was just like, oh, you invited to our house? Well, you're gonna be playing MW2. Like, I guess I'm playing MW2 then. And then I remember too, like we at that point when we went over, like we had known him for weeks, gone over there all the time, and we'd be playing MW2 constantly, and it's the best game ever. And then he's like, you know what, why don't we play like Halo 3? And I'm like, oh no, I'm not sure Halo's for me. I think that's too much. And then everybody's like, I'll play Halo 3, and then they're playing it. I'm like, oh shit, this looks fun, and it looks no different than MW2. I want to play. And so eventually I got played right then. I just remember that it's so good.
So funny. See, I was the oldest growing up, so like I never played an M game until I was 11, and the first one I played was MW2 and Halo Reach. And then as soon as like I started playing those, my dad and like my parents and my dad actually saw them. They're like, oh, Aaron can play this. My younger siblings. So like my little brother's been playing MW2 and stuff since he was like 6.
Yeah.
And I was always so jealous. I'm like, how could you? I couldn't play this game till I was 11. You suck. And
well, I mean, part of it is that they can see the game right then and there.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's so like Reach didn't like. I don't think it could have like.
It was only rated M for violence and blood.
Yeah, you could have taken out the blood and it would have been rated T. It wouldn't matter.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the original Halo, the Halo Combat Evolved was T.
I think it was too.
I believe so.
I know Halo 2 was M because that was actually the first M game I bought because I went to a pawn shop looking for MW2. And I'm like, well, I'll just get this in Medal of Honor, or I think. Yeah, it was like Medal of Honor, Halo 2. Oh, I had such fond memories of playing Halo 2 because I remember like we were in for some reason the Xbox was in my room and we had this old like it was one of the very early flat screen televisions, not like super duper fancy, but it's still early enough. And we played Halo 2 like super late into the night and got to the flood missions, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like scary, you know, like just the zombies and all that. It's so good.
The first M-rated game we bought was Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, and we bought it for the Wii.
Oh yeah.
And we had like the gun attachment that you like hooked in the controller to, and I remember I played that game once. So my parents were like, it's fine. I had to have been like 10 or 11 at this point. My parents like, I guess this is fine. We'll see what happens. So I start playing it, and we're on the boat mission, and the boat starts sinking, and you know, Activision's like, it's all gone to shit, and my parents like, nope, and they like, turned it off. Like, you're not allowed to play this anymore.
Wow.
Like just immediately, they're like,
oh my God.
Oh, he said shit. Nope, and out the window. So I only ever played it once, and I was so sad. And then now I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to buy Watch Dogs 2. And my parents like, okay. Like like once I hit like 16, my parents like, we trust you to like make good choices. And I was like, you do? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, The Witcher 3.
As you said that, and it reminded me. So we had just bought a 360 Slim so we can play with, and I don't think we had any games for it really. Like maybe we had like, we had I think we had Forza Horizon 3, I think, and maybe a few other games. Anyway, not Horizon 3, sorry, Forza Motorsport 3. Anyway, we were debating between whether to get Halo Reach and Black Ops 1. And like I remember we were arguing because it's like Halo Reach has vehicles, has aliens, it's cool, and then we have Black Ops, which is very similar to MW2, but it's brand new. It just came out. So and we ended up going with Black Ops. And I remember like we'd played some of the multiplayer, like, oh, this is great, we love it. And I remember like our parents wanted to see the campaign or something they wanted to see the game. So we started out the campaign, and as you know, that the campaign starts with Mason in basically an electric chair being tortured, just basically shouting as loud as he can. And it's just like, yeah, stick to the only multiplayer.
Yeah, I totally remember that too. That was Call of Duty Black Ops 1 was like the first game with like a lot of language that my parents let me play. Like that was the first game with language that my parents let me play that I can remember. With like at least language that heavily. They're like, just wear headphones when you play it. Yeah. Or play it in the basement. And I remember because I was like, well, I had to have been like 13, 14. They're like, we trust you not to repeat the words. So like, go ahead.
Sorry, I just had another memory for the GameCube.
Well, I do want to. Before we do,
I gotta. It's a pent up memory.
Go.
So we had the GameCube. My brother had gotten like a ton of money for his birthday. It was like almost like $200, and it was back when the GameCube came out. Anyway, so he's like, oh, I want to. We played it at our uncle's house. It was Simpsons Hit and Run. Legit, gosh, we got it, and like my mom's
throwback.
Oh, it's so great. My mom's like, okay, just you cannot repeat any of the things you hear in the game. Like, okay, cool, and it was fine, and we had it for a while, and for some reason we lost it eventually. But I remember like that mentality, like there, we had gotten Civ City like Rome for like the PC, and I remember like it's like rated E or like E10 maybe, and my mom's like, don't repeat anything in the game, and I remember my dad's like, there's like nothing. It's literally no language. It's like there's nothing they could repeat. I just remember it's like at that moment I was like, Anyway,
that's actually a great segue into what I want to talk about before we started getting into like the 360 and the current gen.
Yeah.
Or I guess
we kind of already touched on
past gen. We touched on it a bit, but like before we actually get into like the 360 and our current systems, I do want to touch on PC games growing up. In our basement, we had an old CRT PC screen. Like the CRT screen with PC with Windows 3. Or no, Windows 2000 on it.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Or Windows 99. Damn, it's 98.
98 or XP. I bet money.
It was the one after 98.
I grew up with XP. It's XP.
Okay, so Windows XP. Yeah, because I remember all the noises it made and stuff.
Yeah.
And we had like a bunch of games. Most of them were educational. And I remember the one I played the most. Roller Coaster
Space
Tycoon
Pinball. 2. Sorry, I was kidding.
Yes, I did play Ace Pinball, but Roller Coaster Tycoon 2.
I played the first one so much. That was my childhood.
Hell out of Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. And then we also had SimCity 2000, which I could never figure out how to play when I was like 8. It made no sense to me, and I could not understand it. And then we had, for like a brief time, we had this game. It was SimCity Driving on the PC, and I think it ended up breaking. But like I very vaguely remember playing it. It was like basically you drive around SimCity in like first person or whatever. And
there was a game called Driver.
No, it was SimCity Driving or SimCity Racing. It was one of those. And I just remember that you would be driving by people, and the people had like a walk animation, but they wouldn't move. They would just walk in place and do nothing. And they were like 2D. So like when you drove past them, they like tilted to always be facing you. And it was the worst. We also had this Hot Wheels racing game. Where it was like it was a racing game and you're on a Hot Wheels track. And I only vaguely remember playing it because the disc cracked when I was like 6. So I can only vaguely remember playing it. And then we had all like the Reading Rabbit games.
Yeah, of course. All the edutainment games.
The staple of early 2000s educational Reading Rabbit. And then like I remember we had a few like Dora and My Little Pony games and like for like my little sister, and we had like my favorite one was the Strawberry Shortcake game, because the whole game was like you complete these mini games to create cookies, and I always thought the cookies
I can see why you want an easy bake oven. I see why.
I love sweets, and the My Little Pony game had where like the premise of the My Little Pony game was you were having a party, and you had to like set up the party, you had to decorate, and then you had to decorate a cake. And that's all I did all day, was just decorate cakes on My Little Pony. And I could never beat the game because the last thing you had to do was send out invitations, and the game would always crash as soon as you tried to open up sending invitations. So I'm like, fine, I'll just bake cakes a million times. And that's what I did, is I baked cakes a million times. And then of course, Oregon Trail.
Yeah.
And there's a couple others I want to mention, but I'll let you get into your.
I was gonna say, like, initially I was like, no, I guess I didn't grow up with a lot of PC games other than like whatever's built on Windows XP. But obviously Roller Coaster Tycoon 1, and then I had the epiphany earlier that did you ever play any of the online like Lego games like on their store? Dude, I lost so many hours on that.
That was the other game. That was my favorite PC game. Lego Island 2. I completely forgot about it.
Yeah.
But it was open. That was the first open world game I ever played. It was open world. I remember you could walk around, press spacebar, and like change people's hats. And I would go around the town and press spacebar to change everyone's hat to my hat. And then like you could go and change the trees to different trees. And they had like different vehicles. If you beat the game, you could fly a pterodactyl around. And I played the hell out of that. And then Lego Racer 1 and Lego Racer 2.
Yeah, I never played any of those.
I wish I could find them. They were so much fun. I loved the Lego Racer games. So, damn, I'm really sad now. I want to play Lego Racer again.
Just go on eBay and find them.
You've got to be able to find a copy.
I mean, like, if you have like a Windows PC, a lot of it's still compatible.
Yeah. But yeah, those were the games. And then I remember my friends had like backyard skateboarding. Did you ever remember the backyard games?
No, I have
like,
no idea what those are.
Oh
again, like that kind of what I listed is pretty much all in that and Civ City Rome. That's pretty much all the PC games I played because we were just consoles, all consoles.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Thinking back on it, like I always loved open world games. Open world is like still my favorite type of game, and obviously they've gotten so much better. But I remember another open world game that I played all the time, PlayStation 2. This was the first T-rated game I was able to play. It was Tony Hawk's Project 8.
Oh yeah.
That was the first T-rated game I was able to play, and I remember it was free roam. So you got to like get off your skateboard, walk around, climb things, go on rooftops, and that's all I did. And it was so much fun. I have such fond memories playing that. If you guys played any of these games, please let us know. We'd love to like talk about them.
Oh yeah, or if you're selling some of these.
Yes, if you're selling some of these games, please hit me up.
Yeah, please scam me.
Please, I don't care. I'll get scammed for Project 8.
Another $2 48-hour Xbox Live Gold.
Yeah,
Pass.
yeah. Oh, for sure. Oh my gosh.
So yeah, jumping to
other
PS4 or go ahead.
Jumping into Xbox 360, but before I do want to mention, obviously we both played the Lego games growing up, like
the Lego Star Wars games.
But like I feel like those are so played out talking about them. Everyone knows what those are, so I wanted to mention that yes, we played them because I can see the comments now like, why didn't you guys mention Lego Star Wars? You talked about the Lego games. You didn't mention Lego Indiana Jones. We played them.
Yeah.
But like
pretty much all of them.
Like, but that's one of those things where like, of course we played those.
Mm-hmm.
Like who didn't play? Who grew up during the early 2000s?
Can I say this though about it? Did you ever play Lego Lord of the Rings? That's a newer one.
Oh, of course.
Dude, I love the fact that they use the actual audio. That it killed me. Absolutely killed me. I mean, that was so late. I shouldn't have been playing a Lego game at that age. But even still, I was like,
you're never too old for Lego games. I still play Lego Harry Potter on my Wii out in the.
That's the only one I didn't play.
I still play that. We love the Lego games. I just wanted to make that known before we move on to 360.
Yes, let's move on.
But I want to move on to 360, and I'll let you start. We already touched on the Call of Duties, obviously that. So putting aside Call of Duty,
and Halo,
multiplayer aspect of the game, what were like your favorite Xbox 360 games to play, kind of by yourself?
By myself, okay. Well, I will say this much. I remember one of the main reasons why I wanted to buy a PS. It's corrupted me anyway. Why I wanted to buy a 360 is Game Informer. They get their grip on the youth. They had an ad for. I
still have a Game Informer subscription.
Oh really? No.
Yeah, just because. What not?
Yeah.
Like I go to GameStop a lot, so it comes with the 10% off discount. So I might as well.
I was literally about to say it's extra paper while I have stacks of manga I never read. Anyway, what I was gonna say is that they were advertising Forza Motorsport 4, which looked amazing. It was a fantastic game. There's like Top Gear snippets and everything. Anyway, that was the main reason. I remember playing a ton of that, and then it was mostly multiplayer games. And then I really wish I could see my current library right now, because all I'm remembering is the big games. And later, obviously, like Dark Souls, and I remember we bought a Kinect, so we had a bunch of Kinect games, and honestly, I can't remember specifically right now. I'm sure I'll remember some when you're saying yours, but want to cut in. But
I have a few, just because I still play my 360, so I still remember like all the games I played. But the first major game that like changed the game for me, pun not intended, was the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. The first open world RPG fantasy game I ever played. And ever since then, it's been over for me. Like that's been my favorite genre since then. Just I remember being astounded that you could just go anywhere in the game, do anything you want, kill anybody you wanted, like all the different quest lines. You could buy houses. Like I remember playing that game and just being blown away. And that led into the first game I ever pre-ordered, which was the Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim. Was the first game I ever pre-ordered. And I remember, because I got into Oblivion literally right before Elder Scrolls 5 was announced. So I remember watching the announced trailer and just being like, they're making another one? And like, freaking, because I never bought game sequels growing up. I didn't really even realize, because I was like 11. I didn't realize that was a thing. I was like, they're making a second one. I mean, obviously it was the 5th one, but you know, I was a dumb 12-year-old like, oh. But yeah, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion was the game I played the most by a wide margin. Like, I have my 360 with me. I could probably go and see what games I put the most hours into, but it's definitely Elder Scrolls 4. Oblivion.
I'm kind of starting to realize I didn't play a lot of games on the 360.
I remember I bought someone the Elder Scrolls 4.
Yeah, no, you bought me Skyrim, yeah.
I bought you Skyrim, but I remember I bought someone Elder Scrolls 4, and I can't remember.
And Far Cry 4.
I did buy you Far Cry 4 just because I wanted someone to play it with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every game I bought for you was so that we could play it together. I've never bought a game for you. I've always bought you a game for me.
And I don't want to say I'm not poor, and it's not that I didn't want the games. It just kind of was like, you know, like I think what was I busy with? I'm trying to think, what was I spending my money on at that time?
Gundam.
No. Gundam is way later.
No, for Far Cry 4 it was Gundam figures.
Oh, I get. Yeah, actually, yeah, that definitely.
For Skyrim, I think it was just it didn't really interest you that much, and I'm like, no, Mason, you're playing it, and I bought it for you, and I'm like, you're playing it, play it.
Like right now, I'm just scrolling through like the top Xbox 360 games, and I probably have like a 1/6 of them. It's just like literally.
What are they?
Oh, I mean, it's everything from COD to GTA, Tomb Raiders.
I was never allowed to play
Dark
GTA,
Souls,
obviously.
Red Dead, Batman, Skyrim, BioShock, Mass Effect.
BioShock, I remember I bought BioShock Infinite, and I couldn't play it in front of my parents because it had a lot of F words in it.
Yeah.
And I was always like downplay. So my parents, every time I bought a game that my parents didn't like really research beforehand. So my parents would look at the ESRB rating before I bought any game, especially M-rated games, and they're like, so like how bad is the language? And I would always like downplay it, it's a lot, but it's not like all the time. It was definitely all the time. I was just flat up lying to my parents. But then I remember if a game had sexual themes in it, sexual content, hard no.
Yeah,
but
that's
sexual
a
themes,
no-go.
I could like kind of convince my parents to let me buy it, depending on what the sexual themes were. Speaking of convincing my parents, I have a story for when we get to PlayStation 4. Or I guess,
I mean, I'm about done.
I could just jump straight into the story because it's kind of related to what we were talking about.
Yeah, let's go to the PS4. I mean, again,
it's related to Far Cry 4. I remember I wanted to play Far Cry 4 so bad because one of my like favorite like areas that a game can be set in is the Himalayas. Like I've always loved the Himalayas. I've always been fascinated like by the aesthetic of it, the culture of it, and all that. So when Far Cry 4 was announced as an open world game set in the Himalayas with like ATVs, cars, guns, explode, I'm like, I need this game. But then the ESRB rating came out, and it was rated M for nudity and sexual content.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so my parents are like, no, I'm not buying you a game with nudity in it. You're 16. That's not happening. But I wanted it so bad because had it. And it's like, oh yeah, this game's amazing. It's so fun. And I kept reading about it in Game Informer. Game Informer kept doing like a cover story on it and all this. I'm like, I want this game so bad. So this is super cringy looking back on it. But at the time that Far Cry 4 came out, I was on debate team in high school. So what Mason knows where this is going already. Mason's ahead of me. You're ahead of me. So what I did is I wrote a 1AC on why they should buy me or why they should let me play Far Cry 4. Or no. The 1AC was for Elder Scrolls Online. No, for Far Cry 4, I wrote a contract.
Oh my god.
I wrote a contract.
I wish you could hear my face palm right now.
Oh, yeah, I wrote a contract that I signed. Like, these are the conditions. I want Far Cry 4 so bad. And here's the conditions. It was like, I'll only play it for 30 minutes a day. I'll skip, like, all the nudity stuff. It's gotta be somewhere. It's gotta be on my computer. Let me actually see if I can find it. Just because, let me look up
Just put it on the screen. Or what you could do is just do a dramatic reading of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Far Cry 4.
Oh my god.
It's probably not.
I don't think I was ever that bold to do that.
No, I wanted this game so bad.
I remember making the argument to buy Halo Reach over Black Ops 1, but other than that, it was like, and it was all verbal. There wasn't anything to do with games.
Yeah. So
to be fair, though,
it's not on my computer, so I don't remember what any of the conditions were.
You have to try and find it later.
I'll try to find it later. Maybe we can read it on the next episode if I end up finding it. But yeah.
God, that's crazy.
Yeah, that was super cringy. But yeah, PS4, technically current gen.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's the console we still play on.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about Apex at the beginning. What are like the defining PS4 games for you?
Well, okay, I'll just say this much is that like Jonah had a PS4 long before I did. I was way on the back end because I bought mine when the PS4 Pro came out, and then basically went mad with buying single player games.
And I do want to say the reason I got it so early is I was lucky enough to be able to get a job when I was 15, which is really hard to do in Virginia because you need like a worker's permit from like the Board of Education or whatever the heck. But I was able to get a job. It lasted 2 weeks. I was quote unquote fired just because like I wasn't the right fit for the job. Basically meaning I was 15. I wasn't ready to be working yet. But in those 2 weeks, I made exactly $420, which is exactly what the PlayStation cost.
Big money for a 15-year-old.
I made the exact amount of money I needed to buy a PlayStation 4. I couldn't buy a game for it. I couldn't afford a game. I could only afford the console. So I had a PS4, and I had to wait until Christmas to be able to get a game for it.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, but there's so many good games for the PS4.
Yeah. What are the highlights? Because I have like 120 PS4
I remember.
games,
Okay, well,
so
the first games I bought. Also, we just completely skipped over the Wii. Dear God.
And the DS.
Yeah, the Wii, the Wii U, all the handhelds. Oh my gosh,
we'll go through handhelds after this. We'll go through Wii because we do need to talk about the Wii.
Should we go back to the Wii first?
Let's go back to the Wii first.
Okay.
The Wii. Actually, let's go back even further to the DS.
Well, you say, are we doing handhelds now then?
Yeah, let's do the DS.
I have a lot of handhelds then. Okay,
just stick with the DS and Game Boy.
But okay, well, I'll start with the Game Boy. So basically, it had to been 2005, 6 around there. Just moved to Virginia first time, yeah.
Ayo.
And basically we had these neighbors, and we went over there for their birthday party, and they both just got PSPs, and they're like, "Oh, that's so cool! PSPs are crazy." And then they're like, "Well, wait, have you guys had handheld consoles?" Like, no, like we've only had like normal consoles. They're like, you know what? Here. And then they go up and get their Game Boy Advance SPs, 2 of them, different colors, red and blue, gave them to us with games.
My
God. Just straight up gave them to us.
You lucked out.
And those
Holy
were the
shit.
Those were the new ones too, so they had the better backlight too.
Oh my gosh.
So legit had that for a while, and then I don't know why, but I bought Griffin's old original DS off of him, and then I got to collecting nearly all of them. And then, but yeah, I mean, I'm not sure you want to go into. I was going to talk about games, but
I didn't have a GameCube, but I do.
Oh no, sorry, games. Games.
I do want to go into games. Yes, I do want to go into games. A bit. I don't want to spend too much time on handhelds because.
Oh, okay.
Are you gonna start?
No, I was legit.
Do you want me to start?
I couldn't remember any DS games other than Mario 64 DS.
Okay, do you want me to start with the DS games then?
I thought you were gonna do. Okay. You were gonna say what your DS
Super
was.
Mario Brothers, right off the bat.
I never owned it. Never owned it. Played it.
Luigi Poker. Come on, Luigi.
Luigi Poker's good.
Who can forget Luigi Poker?
I do remember.
So there was that Zelda Zelda Phantom Hourglass.
Yeah, I had that
one. To
this
day, my favorite Zelda. Second favorite. Wind Waker's my favorite, but Phantom Hourglass. The DS Zelda games are so underrated. They're so good. Spirit Tracks,
they're not my favorites.
Spirit Tracks less so than Phantom Hourglass, but Phantom Hourglass was so much fun.
Yeah, they're definitely not my favorites, but they're
played
good.
The hell out of Phantom Hourglass, and then My Sims was on the DS. Was a big one I played. I don't remember much. You know what I remember most about the DS?
What?
It was the DSi PictoChat. That's the thing I remember the most
that
of, was
too.
Picto Chat on the DSi. That is all I can remember about it. I can't remember any of the games that were on the DS.
I know, me neither. Like, other than really obscure ones, I can't
Zelda,
really think
Mario
of a lot.
Mario Kart DS with Waluigi Pinball. Nintendo, why have you not brought back Waluigi Pinball? Where is it? You brought back all the other old courses. I want Mario Kart 9 to have Waluigi Pinball on it. Please,
it's kind of crazy.
Nintendo.
I've played every single Mario Kart except for DS and 7. And so those are the only ones I've not played.
DS.
Or owned. I've owned most of them.
DS had the best Rainbow Road, and I will die on that hill. Because actually, it had a loop-de-loop and a corkscrew. It was a roller coaster course. How could you not love DS Rainbow Road? And then
I'm partial to the
Waluigi
Wii
Pinball. Waluigi Pinball. Come on. Yeah, that's it. And then Pokemon Fire Red.
Oh yeah.
Pokemon Fire Red was the other one.
I got into Pokemon way. No, that's Game Boy.
Game Boy was Fire Red?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah,
but you could put it in your DS.
Yeah, my DS Lite had a Game Boy port. Because I'm like, I definitely played Pokemon Fire Red, but I didn't own a Game Boy. So I was really confused for a second.
I just
what was
realized
the DS one?
The DS ones were Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. And then there's also Black 1, Black 2, and White 1 and White 2.
I had Pokemon Black 1. Pokemon Black 1 was the one I had.
Sorry, I just had a heart attack. I just remembered I bought a brand new red DS Lite from Walmart and then traded it in. Why? It was so nice looking. Also, great memory. I remember a GameStop employee giving me an original DS stylus for free. I remember that. That was so nice of them. Because I went in like, hey, do you have any stylus for the original Game Boy? Like, sorry, we only carry DS Lite and up. But you know what? You can have mine. And gives it to me. Premium customer service. Premium.
Dude, 2010's GameStop was the best place to go.
Yeah.
Like, that was when GameStop was at its peak. 2010's GameStop. By far. I'm gonna look up best DS games.
I can't remember a ton of them. I mean, there are a lot of obscure.
Oh my gosh. Animal Crossing.
I never had that. The Wii is the first Animal Crossing game I had.
Jeez. Yeah, Pokemon.
I forgot you can get Chrono Trigger on the DS. Damn.
Super Mario 64 DS.
Yeah, that's the one I played a lot of.
Kirby.
I never played the Kirby games.
Kirby on the DS was great.
I'm starting to realize I didn't have a lot of DS games growing up.
I didn't either. I'm starting to realize that too.
It's kind of like weird.
Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games.
No, I never played those.
What? You never played the Mario and Sonic games?
I played it once, but not on the DS.
How?
A lot of the DS games I bought were later, much later.
Shame. Did you ever play Scribblenauts? Scribblenauts was another one I played a bunch.
Namco Museum.
Did you never played Scribblenauts?
No, I hadn't played it.
Shame.
Yeah. Honestly, didn't use it much. I had a lot more Game Boy games.
Brain Age.
Never. I always saw it, never owned it.
I played Brain Age way more than I should have, if we're being completely honest.
Trying to get that big brain.
But those are all the games I can remember that I owned. Do
you want to go to the Wii?
Yeah, let's go to the Wii. I remember.
I'm not sure how distracted we are.
I still have my Wii, so I totally remember.
The Wii's my Wii. God. It's freaking. It's the GOAT. I'm sorry.
Do you remember the old Wii commercials with the two Japanese guys in the smart car who would pull up to the house and be like, "We would like to play," and then bow with the controller.
That's Satoru Iwata and Shigeru Miyamoto.
Dude, it was like, yo, you can like move around and the tennis thing moves. That's insane. It was like the crazy.
My first memory with the Wii is that it just came out, and we were still living in Virginia. Had recently moved there. It's 2006, around that time. And I remember like, oh, this Wii's pretty interesting, but we didn't have one. We still had our Xbox. It was fine.
Yeah.
And then we had these friends who lived like maybe 10 houses down there. We all lived in townhouses. And we went over there and they were playing the Wii Sports baseball. We thought it was hilarious. It was great. And I remember for some reason my family, all except for my dad, we went down to grandparents' house and just chilled. And I remember came back. And I was like, Dad, why didn't you go and play with the neighbors? Like you could enjoy the Wii. Because, it's a brand new console. You could have seen it. And he's like, oh, yeah, no, I mean, it was fine. And we get home. they had bought a Wii, and that like we played it right then and there. Also, I just remembered because the Wii was bundled with Wii Sports and it came with Smash Brothers Brawl. The problem is we were stupid at that time. We were stupid kids, and we had Smash Brothers Brawl, and we couldn't figure out how to sync the controllers to play with 2 people on one console. So we assumed it was online only. So we ended up trading it in and got Lego Indiana Jones.
No, you didn't.
And then
you didn't.
2 years later, we'd end up playing it on our grandpa's Wii and just like had the biggest facepalm of our lives. And thus Smash became huge in the household.
No.
Dude, it's so painful. Because literally we traded in either the next day or that very same day. We didn't even pretend. We didn't even get to enjoy the Subspace Emissary or anything. Anyway, it's again, the Wii's so fucking goat. It's so good.
That hurts. That hurts really bad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I loved the Wii. I remember we had Wii Music, which I loved so much because I'm like, I'm playing the violin. I feel like the dude in High School Musical, like, I play the cello. And we had obviously Just Dance. I mean, come on. Sonic Colors was one of my favorite.
I was just talking to Sonic Colors with my coworker.
Colors. So one of the best Sonic to come out.
Did you ever homebrew? Well, actually, no. Probably with your dad with cybersecurity or security. Like he probably didn't homebrew your Wii, did you?
I don't even know what that means.
You hack your Wii and pirate a bunch of games.
Yeah, no, we definitely didn't do that.
Our uncle did that. We got a hard drive when we had played for like so long all these cool games, and then eventually one of us had updated the console and ruined it, so that kind of sucked. But it was great while it lasted. Yeah, that was the best. So many cool games.
My Sims Agents stands out as well.
Animal Crossing
and My Sims Agent. I never played Animal Crossing on the Wii.
So good. That's the best one.
Whoa. Yeah. I have my Wii. I could just go
Mario
look at
Kart.
what games I own for it. But
yeah, I gotta buy a new one.
Oh, Wii Fit.
Yeah.
Wii Fit. So much fun. And I felt like I was being healthy and cool. I was a healthy gamer. I loved Wii Fit so much. I remember they had the jogging thing where you like put the Wii in your remote in your pocket and you jogged in place and you got to go around like the big island thing. And
I wonder if my grandpa still has his Wii. I'm starting to think that now. Sorry.
And then you had like all the balance games.
Yeah.
And they had yoga that my parents would never let me use because yoga was tied to Eastern mysticism or whatever.
Oh, really?
And also my parents are one of those like yoga's lame kind of people. Like only guys with man buns do yoga.
It's like, well, maybe you're not wrong.
It's like you're not wrong, but aren't you?
I remember we did.
Yeah,
we used.
So
Wii
we weren't
Fit
allowed to play yoga for Wii Fit, but I loved Wii Fit. How much is a Wii Fit pad?
Dude, we have 2 of them.
Could I borrow one?
If I find the other one, I will. Because again, I want to like bring back the Wii with like a roaring vengeance.
Here we go. Wii Fit Plus balance board.
Oh, the plus one.
Oh, I don't want the plus. I just want the.
Because they came out the Wii Fit Plus later, but.
Dude, they're like $200.
No, they're not.
On Amazon.
They can't. Well, maybe now.
eBay. Let me look at eBay.
They are not $200. I know my mic does not sound good right now.
No, I'm looking at Wii Fit balance board on eBay. $40 on eBay.
Okay, I was gonna say, I was like, dear God, am I sitting on $400?
On Amazon, they're $200, but they're like $30 on eBay.
I was gonna, yeah, they're like $30. Okay, I was like, there's no way I'm sitting on a PS5 right now with 2 balance boards.
Dude, Wii Fit balance board with 2 games for $10.
Yeah, I mean, you find them everywhere, dude. Everyone just throws them away.
Oh my gosh, with Wii Fit.
Yeah, those are good. The good old days.
Although shipping is $30, but you know.
Yeah, of course.
That's how they get you.
Oh, good.
As soon as I start my job and start getting paid, I'm buying a Wii Fit balance board. I don't even care.
Or if I find a second one, I'll. Yeah. If I find our second one,
please give it to me.
There's a chance it just got thrown away. There's like it. because the second one came from my grandpa's one, and that's why I was like, wait a minute, if we stole his balance board, he might still have his Wii, and our Wii broke because the disc drive got and it's cheaper just buy a new one than it is to replace it.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Anyway, also White Wii Gang, just saying. But
yeah.
That being said, though, the Aquamarine one, that one's pretty good.
I do.
Did you ever? Did you know anybody who had the Wii?
Though.
I know the black one's nice, but it's not a Wii. It's not a Wii to me.
That's true. Yeah, I remember we had the black controllers. I'm like, this doesn't feel.
Did you ever know
same.
anybody who had the mini Wii?
No, I never knew anyone with.
Me neither. Wii. I saw it in a pawn shop. That was the first time.
I know a few people with mini Wii.
I know. As soon as I said that, I was like,
but not the. I don't know anyone.
I'm
with
pretty
the
sure
mini
it's
Wii
called
console.
the Wii Mini, but the mini Wii sounds better.
It's called the Micro Wii. The Wii. No. Dude, the Wii. It's like a Wii console,
the Wii,
and instead of being long and skinny, it's just like a box. Like it's just an Xbox One Series X.
It's just wide Wii, wide Putin.
Wide Putin Wii. That I will say, the Wii is one of the most unfortunate game console names Nintendo ever came up with.
No, the Wii U, dude. The Wii is fine. The Wii U sucked ass. We still got
I'm talking
ours.
about name. I'm talking about name-wise.
Why? What do you mean? It's perfectly marketable.
It is.
We Play, Wii Sports.
Yeah, Wii Play is a very unfortunate game title. But yeah, Wii Fencing is also a very unfortunate game title.
Wii Fencing.
Wii Fencing. Yeah, I get maybe in Japan, but I think that's the reason the Wii sold so well in America, is just because it was called the Wii. Or no, didn't it undersell?
No, it was like the second most best-selling console of all time.
That's what I thought. I guarantee you it's because Americans saw that it was called the Wii, and they're like,
I think it's because of freaking motion controls. That was the biggest leap in motion control technology.
Do you remember the PlayStation 3 Move?
I remember it, but I always thought it was like a clear knockoff.
It was just shitty Wii.
I don't know why.
That's literally all it was. It was a shitty Wii for your
at
PlayStation.
That, and then the Kinect came out. That one I fell for. I felt like that was like
a lot of people fell for the Kinect.
This is actually.
I fell for it when I saw the commercials, but the first time I ever used one, because I had one at my church, I used it. I'm like, why would I use this when I have a perfectly fine Wii right here?
Yeah, no.
Why would I be using the Kinect when I have the Wii controllers?
There was I don't know what store it was. Part of me wants to say it's like a Best Buy Express, but that's not it. And part of me wants to say it's a Bose store of all things. But basically, there was this booth where they had a Xbox 360 with the Kinect, and you could just go in and play it in the mall.
That was Best Buy. Best Buy had those.
But I know, no, it was in the mall though. That's the only thing. So. But anyway, I remember that's when I first played it.
There's a lot of weird shit in malls.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why? Like I said, like the guy flying the helicopter. It's like,
exactly.
We know how a remote control helicopter works. We know it flies. Like, you don't need to demonstrate it.
Let's see. How are we on time? Do you want to jump to PS4s?
It's been like an hour and 30 minutes, I want to say.
Yeah, on this set.
We can jump into PS4 and kind of finish it off with that.
Well, I mean, I have a bunch of more random handhelds, but I feel like maybe the collecting side's not as interesting as like growing up with consoles.
It might be. I think it's more interesting for a niche audience.
Oh, okay.
I think talking about growing up with consoles is less interesting, but for a wider audience.
Yeah, definitely.
It's semi-interesting for a wide audience rather than really interesting for a niche audience.
Yeah, I just want to jump to PS4 then.
Yeah, let's jump to PS4.
Okay. Like I said before, I got the PS4 Pro, and I remember the first few games I got for it were Bloodborne, to the dismay of my parents. They're like, this doesn't seem like a really good game for you.
This doesn't seem like a good Christian game.
But meanwhile, I'm like, yes, 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 and then I play it. I'm like, yes, yes. It's still one of my favorites to this day. I don't know. Oh, I watched the Game Grumps. That's why. I was trying to remember why I was so into that game, because that was the first Souls game. No. Did I play Dark Souls? I can't remember. Oh no, I did play Dark Souls then.
Yeah,
Bloodborne.
You definitely played Dark Souls.
That's probably why. But anyway, then obviously CODs. I remember the travesty that was Call of Duty Ghosts. I remember that biggest waste of $51 I've ever had. Oh, this was about the time I was watching Vanoss Gaming and all them. That's this era. So I remember basically whatever new game they were playing, I was gonna basically buy. So you know, a lot of Black Ops 2. I would have loved to see a counter of how much time I spent in that game, as we mentioned before. Again, PS4 sucks ass for racing games, but it has a ton of like single player RPGs and stuff, like Nier Automata, all the Source games.
Unpopular opinion.
What?
I really enjoyed The Crew.
Yeah, I mean, I only played a little bit. That was another game I got.
It's not a great racing game for sure, but I really enjoyed that. I also really enjoyed Need for Speed Rivals. I had a lot of fun with it.
I think this is where I've realized is I really like racing simulator games.
I like more arcade stuff.
I like those a lot better than arcade. I've actually been tempted to buy a rig, to be honest, but I don't have a PC yet.
I want one. I
it'd
really
want
to get.
It'd be a bit stupid to buy one for a laptop.
Yeah. If I had a game PC, I'd definitely buy a racing rig for like Forza Horizon.
Yeah, no, I think so too.
Truck Simulator. I'm
really contemplating it because I have a perfect setup for it. I mean, I got a chair. I want to know,
do they have like pilot rigs for like Microsoft Flight Simulator? Yeah. I want one. I want one of those.
It's super cool. Oh, I hate to bring it back, but do you remember the game called Armored Core?
No.
It was for the original Xbox, and it was basically a ton of controls. It was this big. It was like it's $250, if not more, right now, and it might have been like $150 when it came out. And just think of this like yardstick of panels and switches that you connect to your Xbox, and basically you're controlling a mech. I'm pretty sure it's Armored Core or Mecha Warrior. Not sure. One or the other.
Do we want to talk about plug and play consoles, or is that like a whole?
Oh, we could talk about that. Yeah, that is such a weird. Where did that fit in? I think that was before the Wii. Is when we started buying some of those.
Dude,
holy shit! Just remembered a PC game. Sorry. Go ahead.
What do you?
It was Spider-Man Movie Maker for the PC. Oh my god, I forgot about that.
That was my favorite game on the PlayStation 2. Spider-Man. I completely forgot that I had the Spider-Man PlayStation 2 game. That game was amazing. Like the original Spider-Man one.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Sorry, did you want to go back to PS4s or what do you think?
We keep talking about the PlayStation 4 and then we're like, oh, this console that we forgot. Well, I feel like PS4 is just super uninteresting to talk about though, because it's the current gen.
I mean, there's so many good games, but you're right. It's so recent.
We talk about the PlayStation 4 so much because that's what we play when we stream. We stream PS4 games. So I feel like there's not a big need to talk about it on the podcast. If you want to hear more about our love for PS4 games, you can check out JDM Blackout on YouTube, Jonah TV on YouTube, and then also JDM Blackout on Twitch and Jonah TV Live on Twitch, or JTV Live on Twitch for PlayStation 2. And we'll just talk about plug-and-play consoles. The reason I had so many, I had a CRT TV in my bedroom growing up. A big box, thick Putin boy in my bedroom, and it had here's how old it was. It had a built-in VHS player.
Oh, yeah, like an old Hitachi.
Yeah. So... And it only had a white and yellow AC port. It didn't have the red one. It only had the white and yellow one. So I bought plug-and-play consoles, and I had 5 plug-and-play consoles.
Sorry, I'm looking at photos right now. I'm just got a grin on my face. Oh my god. Oh my god, I forgot about that one too. So, I'm not sure you're done, but I'm just going to say this real quick. There's the Spider-Man one that you can see in one of JonTron's videos.
That's one of the ones I had.
I had that one. I had the SpongeBob one with that weird nose controller.
That's the other one I had.
And then I had the Star Wars Darth Vader controller one.
I didn't have that one.
It's got his head on it, and that's probably the main set. Oh, maybe I had the Pac-Man one, but I'm not sure. I don't think I did.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, those are the main ones. Go ahead.
The ones I had, the Spider-Man one, the SpongeBob one, I had both Pac-Man and Mrs. Pac-Man. And then I had a Power Rangers one. And then I had the weirdest plug-and-play console, I think, ever. What it was like this pad with like a slight divot in it. And so you put that on, and it came with a skateboard that like you put on top on the divot, and you plug it in. It was some terrible skateboarding game, and you played by like standing on the skateboard.
What?
And it had like a little pad that you used to like kick, and then you like leaned to turn. and it had like a little controller that you held that you could do tricks in the air, and you actually steered. Let me find a picture of it.
I googled
because
it.
They did one with a Tony Hawk game. Tony Hawk Downhill Skater had an attachment.
I remember that,
but it wasn't Tony Hawk Downhill Skater. It was like an actual like skateboard plug and play.
Yeah, because I remember the Tony Hawk one. I remember seeing that one in stores and thinking it was super cool.
Skateboard plug and play console, and it had to be like, because this was when I was really into skateboarding, so I had to have been like, this is when I had like my long hair, like the whole baggy cargo pants, like the whole skater thing. I was like 8 or 9. It's like 2007 was probably when I had it. Images.
Yeah.
I need to find it. Oh, here it is. I found it. Let me send you a picture of it. I'm just gonna send it over Discord because it's on my computer. And I'll put it up for the podcast viewers.
Yeah, okay.
That's what it was.
That's the one I saw on Google.
That's what I had, and I remember having so much fun with it.
Radical.
Although the problem was you couldn't save your progress.
Yeah,
I could never get very far into it because I was only allowed to play an hour a day.
Yeah.
So like, but this was what I had, and I played this thing to death. Oh, they have them on eBay.
Mm-hmm. Oh, how much are those going for?
Buy one. $30.
That's not bad.
Do they have the SpongeBob one? Because that's what I really want to play. SpongeBob plug and play. Because that's the one I remember most fondly.
Mm-hmm.
$15, $25. So yeah, around like $30. Oh my gosh, I loved it so much. And they had like the maze game, which had a bunch of mini games in it. It had like a plankton platformer game. And then it had like a fishing game, and then it had like Pong.
Yeah, I can't remember the games. I remember a tad bit of the Spider-Man one, but other than that, I completely do not remember any of the plug-and-play games, the actual games themselves.
Yeah. What's that game called where you have like the little bar at the bottom? It's like a form of Brick Breaker. Yeah. So, did you ever play like the?
You can tell I video game. Anyway, go ahead.
Did you ever play like those like online games tied to like big companies, like the Disney Channel? Like the Disney Channel video games, or like the Nick Jr. Nickelodeon video games that were like browser games?
No, definitely not.
Oh, I played those a ton. And my favorite one was they had one for VeggieTales. And they had Brick Breaker on it. Because they mentioned the game Brick Breaker in the SpongeBob or the VeggieTales Jonah movie. And what was great about the VeggieTales Brick Breaker on the browser is that you could make your own levels with like different colored bricks, different kind of bricks, and you can make your own levels. So I would always just make my own levels and do like pixel art and be like, this is my level, and then I'd play it. And I sat on my dad's computer for hours playing that because it was educational, so I didn't have a set time limit on them. So yeah.
That's nice.
Yep.
Oh,
that's all I wanted to say on that.
I'm looking at boxed Wii's for sale right now.
Why would you get a boxed one? You don't. That's so much extra
I collect,
money.
man. That's the problem.
That's true. See, I collect cheap things like pop figures.
Well, I mean, if you buy them at the low point, you can get some good deals. Like that's why, like the PS1 and PS2 that I own, I bought those so much later, and those are both like $20-$40. And then handhelds are dirt cheap, like $40 for the Game Boy. Games are about that price. I had a Wonder Swan, but I sold that. I mean, it's been good. I've just been buying like rare PS2 games lately because I never grew up with the PS2, as we've made pretty evident.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I don't know where else to go. I feel like we've pretty much covered everything video game related, at least for this episode, as far as the vast overview.
I mean, have we mentioned like? Huh?
We can talk about games like all day.
Yeah, that's true.
In deep into like single games.
Do you want to say what your favorite games of all time are? Like top 3?
Top 5?
Do we can
top
do
3?
I mean, top 3 might be a little easier. Top 5, I'm gonna have to run into problems, but yeah.
Okay, so top 3. Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim.
Okay.
Final Fantasy 15. And I have them on my Twitch channel. Hold on.
Oh, shit.
I have I have my top 5 games as part of like one of my Twitch panels is like my top games. So I won't even need to think about it. Let me just go to my channel and scroll down to see my panels. Let's look here. Favorite video games: Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, Final Fantasy 15, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Apex Legends, and Ghost of Tsushima are my top 5 full time.
Those are your top 5. Okay.
And they're all I know they're all recent games, but like the thing is, I could list like Zelda and like all of those games, but like I remember those a lot less than I remember these ones. So these would be like my current top 5. Not like childhood top 5. Childhood top 5 would be like Wind Waker, Ocarina of Time, Super Mario, and like a couple others along those lines.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to like I have like 3 in my head definitely. There's other ones I'm trying to bring up, but it'd be like it's gonna be Bloodborne, Roller Coaster Tycoon 1. It's gonna be Ocarina of Time. I'm just gonna say Tetris. That encompasses all of them, and like Apex Legends. But for the last one, it's like, what holds a candle? I've played so many games. Yeah, trying to think. Some of the Mario sports games are really great. I don't know. I like Halo Reach.
What are some miscellaneous favorites that you don't think get enough attention?
Halo ODST. I'm glad you brought that question up.
Yes.
That is like one of the most underrated games. I love it.
For sure.
I want to actually I'm gonna stream that soon. That game's so good.
Do it. I'd watch that. What are some like other games that you think that are like one of your favorites that don't get a lot of attention?
Custom Robo, for the GameCube. And let's see, what other ones? Trying to think, because like a lot of the ones I like are pretty legendary. Like they're like clearly like, oh, you know, huge game. Like even the ones I have on Steam, it's just like, yeah, of course. Like freaking everyone knows what Undertale is, or everyone knows what, like, you know, it's just like
not necessarily like no one's heard of, but like don't get a lot of love.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm trying to think of. Custom Robo definitely fits that category the most. Maybe some of the PS1 games. What are some games I love on there? Or from the PS2. Oh, okay. I will say Star Wars Pod Racer 1. That's a very popular game, but that game is so good too.
So, titles that immediately come to mind for me: Dishonored, the original one, the first Dishonored from 2012. That game is so fun. One of the best stealth games I've played. Splinter Cell Blacklist.
Yes.
Another quality game that I don't think gets a lot of love. What else? Obviously the DS Zelda games, Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks, I feel like don't get enough attention. The attention that they deserve. Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind.
Earthbound. Earthbound's one of my favorites.
Oh, yes. Yes.
It's
Earthbound.
It's because I played it on the Wii U. That's why like it's in this limbo of an old game but new console. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes. That Earthbound's quality game. What was the one I just said? Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. Just because that's such a hard game to find nowadays. Because it was so uber popular back when it was a thing. Let me see how much those copies go on eBay. Like in the box. But that comes to mind. I really enjoyed the original Watch Dogs. Like, a lot of people have a lot of problems with it, and I get them. But I really enjoyed that one. A lot of the SpongeBob games, but like a lot of people talk about those. Those are like the ones that come to mind. Those few, like the Zelda's, Dishonored, Deus Ex. Mankind Evolved or Humans Evolved or whatever that is.
Human Revolution.
Human Revolution. Yeah, before Mankind Divided. The one before the newer one.
Yeah.
That's a quality game. Yeah. What did you want to say?
All right. I feel like this might be a good question to end on. Is what is the game that you want to play the most in the future? Like, what's a game that like has just constantly escaped like your grasp or time, where you're just like, oh, that's the game I need to play right now.
Ooh, like you're not talking about like upcoming games. You're talking about like games in the past.
Yeah, that already exists. Because if it's I could say like, oh, Demon's Souls, but it's like, yeah, like ones that are obtainable, but you don't have it. You haven't played it yet.
Oh, this is gonna piss a lot of people off probably.
What?
I have never played any of the Arkham games.
Yeah.
Any of the Batman Arkham
games.
games.
I'm in the same boat there.
I own all of them.
Oh, shit, really?
Yeah, I've never played them. Those three are probably like the big ones where people are like, "You're kidding? You haven't played freaking the Arkham games?" I'm just like, "Yeah, I haven't gotten around to it. Like, I'm sorry. What can I say?" I'm also looking down at like my PlayStation 4 games. I have Titanfall 2. Never opened it.
Great game.
I own it. Haven't
so
opened
underrated.
It. But yeah, the Arkham games are probably like the big three that like I really should play. Yeah, those, and I might play them on stream. The other series that comes to mind are the BioShock 1 and 2 that I also own and haven't gotten around. Oh, fucking Metal Gear. I've never played Metal Gear.
Oh yeah.
I've never played a single Metal Gear. I own the Phantom Pain. I've actually never played a single Kojima game. I've never played Silent Hills. I've never played any of the Metal Gears. Never played Walking Simulator. But like, I want to play those. I really want to play Metal Gear 5 specifically, or just any of the Metal Gear games.
I might stream it. I mean, I've like passed the first chapter.
Yeah, I want to stream that though.
Yeah, no, definitely. Those are very interesting games. The games that I am like literally like, I mean, I know there's a few out there, but I'll say two of them right now. Is obviously Toy Story for the N64 because it's pure nostalgia and I bought it. And then the second game is Silent Hill 2 for the PS2 because everyone says that game's legendary, and not to mention like the soundtrack I've listened to is so good. And like it is perfect, but like okay, like you might not know this because the podcast channel, but I am highly attentive in terms of aesthetics, and it is the coolest visually looking game in the world. So I went and paid. It's like $70-$80 game right now. So I went and bought it already.
Shit, dude.
So I'm sitting on it. And, like I can't wait to play it, and like I just gotta figure out this Elgato PS2 thing to work because I'd like to stream it because I've never played it before. But yeah, those are two of the games I'm really looking forward to playing.
So that was going to be the question to end on, but I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
We'll end on this question. This will actually be the last question. What is a game that you think I should play?
That's a really good one.
You should play.
And this is like without like console limitations, or is this just? It's just like
or on consoles that we own.
Okay. My initial gut reaction is to say Titanfall 2, but let me think about it.
While you think, do you want me to give me the one for you? Because I already
go right ahead.
Persona 5.
Oh, yeah, actually,
you need to play.
My brother's already completed it. I own it.
Persona 4 is available now too. They remastered Persona 4, which I personally think is better than Persona 5.
Damn, those be fighting words.
I know. I don't want to upset the Persona fandom. Is one of those fandoms you do not want to upset.
Atlas people, they'll f you up.
Atlas people are like Atlas in No Man's Sky. Like, you don't want to mess with that.
They will take you out.
Yeah. No. Persona 4 I think is better, but Persona 5 is a phenomenal game, and you need to play Persona 5.
Yeah, no, I definitely need to. I think part of the reason is that it's such a long game is where I'm like kind of like, do I really? Because like I'm sitting on so many games I haven't finished. But I think it's hard because there's a lot of games where I think that you should play, but I'm not sure you would enjoy that much. Like, or I don't know. It's hard to say because the two that I'm leaning towards the most are Titanfall 2 and Nier Automata. I think those are the two games.
Yeah. I knew you were going to say Nier Automata. I was about to bring it up, but I wanted to see if you would arrive to it first.
Because I've played a few hours in Nier, and I do like it a lot. It's just like hard to... Again, it's one of those things where I haven't finished the game. I'm just sitting on it. Apex Legends just steals all of my time. But, I think those are the games I'll recommend.
Here, I'll stream Nier Automata. You stream Persona 5.
Oh God, that's an unfair match. Actually, yeah, no. If you 100% Nier, then I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You know,
I've 100%ed like 3 games in my entire life.
Oh man, we kind of missed that. I don't think I've ever actually maybe like a Lego game. I think that's probably the most I've ever gotten to, like 100%, 100%.
Lame. I 100%ed.
Mario 64, duh.
I 100%ed Skyrim, and I 100%ed Just Cause 3. Those are the 2 games I've 100%ed.
Like, is that in terms of like all achievements, or is it just like
all
in-game
achievements,
stuff?
like all achievements, a full 100%. Also Spider-Man PS4. I 100%ed Spider-Man PS4.
Oh yeah,
those are the games I've 100%ed.
My coworker keeps telling me about that.
That's a game you should play too. But,
yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Mason started fiddling with his microphone. I could see it on Discord, so I think that's the cue to end it.
What are you talking about? What? Just. All right.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Well, I guess this is your host. So
yeah, I was waiting for it, but that's fine. You can just steal it. I mean, I'm clearly not tired of talking. Anyway, yeah, thank you guys for listening, and you know, I mean, hopefully you'll go out and buy some games or something. I don't know, waste more of your money and time, but I mean,
yeah,
you know,
and I guess you already wasted the games we mentioned.
Yeah, you've already wasted 2.5 hours of your life. You might as well waste 10 more. It's fine.
Yeah. And if you have any of the games that we mentioned and you're selling them, hit us up. You can send it to our business emails on our YouTube channels, or just the business email for this podcast. Yeah. And
or
also,
recommendations as well.
And if you have like any topics that you want to hear us talk about, nostalgic thing, literally anything, from all the way from anime to Zoomer culture. If you have a topic you want to hear us talk about, let us know. You can email us at, I don't remember our Gmail.
We'll just put it on the screen.
We'll put it on the screen. That's our Gmail for the podcast. Send us an email or comment it down below. You can also reach out to us on Twitter. Do you want to shout out your socials, Mason?
It's just I actually did that when you were away yelling at your friends. You can follow me at JD and Blackout on both YouTube and Twitch. That's about it, to be honest.
All right. You can follow me at YouTube, Jonah TV, Twitch, JTV Live. Follow me on Instagram at jonah.lackey, on TikTok at what is my TikTok? I think it's Jonah TV as well. It might be jonah.tv. Hold on, let me look at my TikTok. Follow me on TikTok. I do some fun things on there. And of course, Twitter at Jonah TV official. And then it's at jonah.tv on TikTok. And then as always, make sure you subscribe to the No Gen podcast. Once the podcast channel is kind of up and running more, and we start uploading more episodes, I'll try to work on getting a highlight channel started. And so once that's up, I'll link to it down in the description, and you can follow that. You can follow the No Gen podcast on Twitter. I think it's just at No Gen Pod. I should really have these memorized.
I mean, we've only been doing this like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, this is only our 3rd episode, but we do have a Twitter. You can follow us there. You can find it through our Twitter accounts pretty easily. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll catch you in the next episode.
See you guys.
Bye, everyone.